hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Welcome to Rage Against the Mainstream, your full spectrum source for all things music, insight, and opinion. My name is Bill, and I'm joined here today with Connor and Steve.
Yo.
So those of you guys that are listening on the day it comes out, today is September 16th, 2019, and what a beautiful day it is. Have you guys found anything new or interesting this week?
So I listened to, as we know, various types of death metal, black metal, and underground sorts. I'm a huge fan of the band Opeth, and only for the specific reason of their earlier work, especially their second album, Morning Rise. The singer as well joined in with like some super group called Bloodbath. He was on the band for a short period of time, and they recorded some great death metal tracks, but they're releasing a new album that comes out the 27th of this month. They've released several songs, and it's, in my opinion, it's fucking garbage.
I like Opeth.
Yeah,
I like their old music.
That's what I'm saying.
definitely.
Their newer stuff, it's weird because like their earlier work was like this long, like almost black metal, but like just 10-minute long tracks with like kind of like that slower classical vibe, but with like the death metal vocals. And this is just I don't even know how to put it. It's almost like, death metal instrumentals and black metal instrumentals with a guy that usually does death growls trying to like sing the entire time as opposed to balance the both.
So is it like Dimmu Borgir, but
with like a guy singing with like a soprano-esque, opera voice.
like a not as good Halford,
Not even close.
not as good Chuck Schuldiner?
No. And it's funny because
Damn.
his vocals, like he has some songs where he does back and forth, where he's like doing death growls and then singing, and it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Some of their newer stuff started to go that way, but now it's just full on singing.
Oh my god!
And they're literally, if you read reviews, that's the thing about Opeth. Some people are like, "Oh, I love Opeth, but only these albums." Some people are like, "Well, I didn't like those albums, but these albums." So they're like appealing to two different fan bases
Yeah.
at this point. But yeah, the album is called In Cauda Venenum. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a Swedish version that's coming out the 27th, I believe I said, of this month. I'm not going to probably listen to the whole thing, but the two songs I've heard is pretty bad.
I definitely want to hear it. I mean, I fell out of touch with them a while ago, but
Yeah. It's worth a listen. It's kind of like, you got nothing to lose, but you're probably going to be turned off by it.
what about you, Connor? Find anything new or interesting this week?
Yeah, the Vampire Weekend's new album
Oh, okay.
kind of escaped me. I think it's from like January or February, but I just listened to it. It's pretty good. It's their first. I haven't listened to any of theirs since actually the first one, which had like A-Punk and
I remember the first one.
I forget the other songs. I was never like that into them, but there's really no other like indie bands left.
Vampire Weekend, refresh my memory. Is that the
Oxford Comma. Don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck about an Oxford
who are
Comma?
the members?
Ezra Koenig's the lead guy. I forget everybody else's. I know. What's the dude? Scott Baio from the '80s. Scott Baio. Yeah, his nephew is the bassist.
Huh. I'll have to check that
That's
out.
What the
all I-
hell was he in?
Who's the Boss? I think he was the guy in Who's the Boss. But anyway, yeah. If you're a fan of Vampire Weekend, this is their major label debut, their first album in 6 years, preceded by the first single, Harmony Hall.
Nice.
It's worth a listen.
Yeah, it's.
not
I don't
gonna-
think it's like earth shattering. It's not like, but
it's
I
not
mean, they're.
like,
It's. I'll say they've held up a smidge better than MGMT.
really.
Oh wow.
Smidge.
Yeah, what happened? to
Yeah,
that
I was
fucking
wondering that the
thing,
other
dude?
day. Like they were
Like,
huge.
what was it? Kids and
Time to pretend.
Time to Pretend. I mean,
Electric
those songs.
Feel.
Let You
Yeah,
Feel. I
Uh,
love MGMT.
yeah, dude.
they
Even
kind
did you
of.
ever listen to their earlier work when they were actually called The Management before they shortened down to just
No.
MGMT? It's actually pretty good. It's the same thing with Nate Roos, where he did the band The Format before he did Fun.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah,
another
yeah.
band that like.
That's
if you-
Nicole loves the format.
Yeah, and Format's awesome.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing with the MGMT. When they were The Management, they were very different, and then they became more mainstream radio friendly. It's
Yeah.
like funny. It's like the Lumineers. Like, what the fuck happened to these bands?
Another one,
dude?
remember 303?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Well,
fell off
3,
the fucking earth.
08,
they were just like a
03.
little pop act, though. I feel like.
Yeah, but actually, funny enough, you know the theme song in Jersey Shore? Like
Yeah.
that's 303.
Yeah.
Or no, hold on.
Put a stain on our
LMFAO,
whole-
that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, they. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Party anthem.
Yeah, Party It. They fell off the face of the earth,
rockers in
too.
the house tonight.
Yeah, them.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know why I get
Yeah,
that
everybody in
confused
the
with
mid
303,
2000s was shuffling. What happened, dude?
though. Every day I'm
It's
shuffling.
crazy. My God. What about
Yeah.
you, Bill?
I think what was it, a couple weeks ago, Bad Wolves released a new song, and they just released another one called "Killing Me Slowly."
Killing me slowly with this song.
And
It's new and interesting.
yes,
It's definitely new and interesting.
indeed it is new and interesting.
Well, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, dude. I'm not a fan of this particular song at all. I'll Be There, the first single that came off this album, I really liked it. I like the old album a lot. This one, I'm not a giant fan of, so I'm waiting to see what this album is actually going to be.
On this day in music history.
1963, currently the number one song in England, The Beatles' She Loves You, is released by the Tiny Swan label in America, but the stateside public has no idea who the group is, and the single fails to chart. When Capitol releases I Want to Hold Your Hand, Beatlemania ensues, and the song hits number one. A re-released She Loves You single follows it to the top.
It's actually kind of funny because I like She Loves You more than I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I think it's a better song.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny that it didn't chart. Like, it just didn't perform at all.
It's funny, when I got into Nirvana when I was a kid, I thought that John Lennon almost sounded like Kurt Cobain on She Loves You. With the She Loves You, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, but the Beatles were a major influence of Kurt.
Oh, yeah. But it's just one of those little things where
Yeah.
it's like you could pick it out there.
It's kind of funny because it's almost like one of those like the right place at the right time type deals. Like at that particular time, She Loves You wasn't performing at all, and they had to release it as a B-side. It's kind of funny.
What's funny about that song is I can't remember how the guitar or anything goes in it. All I remember is like the She Loves You, yeah.
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 I forget the hook too. It's like
I
with a love like that, na, 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 or something like that.
With a love like that, you know you could be bad.
Yeah, there we go. It's something like that.
1970, Jimi Hendrix jams with Eric Burden in War at the London club Ronnie Scott's 2 days before his death. It's the last time he would play music in public.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like you would think, like
That's a good jam session to go out on, though.
literally a year prior, he was playing Woodstock.
Yeah.
The following year, he's playing at some fucking shitty club in London.
And
I mean,
it's
then
just
again, we don't know it's a shitty
Yeah,
club.
we don't know it's a
Yeah.
shitty club.
and it's just funny
People
too because
played
think
in
about
clubs
the
back
people.
then.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't play in giant
Yeah,
stadiums
no one played
all the
stadiums
time.
every day.
Yeah, it's true. And if you think about all the people that were watching him at this current time, they obviously are coming off of the latest success he had in the public vision with Woodstock, and now they're seeing
Yeah.
him at this fucking club in London.
It's
And
the last time.
2 days later,
Like for instance,
crazy.
let's just say like you went to that show and you're like,
yeah,
this was his best show. Like if he died tomorrow,
that would suck.
like if he died tomorrow, like I think this is okay. I think he played his best show ever.
Yeah, it's like some guy.
If I
getting
never
home.
saw Jimi Hendrix again, I'd be happy because this
Yeah.
was the best show I've ever seen.
Well, you figure it says the London Club. I mean, it's just not. I wonder if anybody could just walked in there like it was like a bar scene or something like that.
Yeah.
Imagine some
Like in
guy
the
coming
Blues
home.
Brothers.
Yeah, 1970, some guys coming home like, "Hey, honey, I just happened to walk into the London Club and there was Jimi Hendrix, Eric Burden, and War."
Nah,
It was
you had
crazy.
to get tickets, I'm sure. Like, I
don't
mean,
know,
it was
man.
Eric Burden in War. Like, this was after the Animals were done. Like, Eric Burden was fucking huge. Like, the
Alright,
whole
so-
Animals.
so let's
had
say an
happened.
individual
Jimi
bought a
Hendrix
ticket.
had done his whole career. Like, they were both fucking huge.
So some guy walked in there with his tickets. He was like, "I'm just going to get a pint here and watch Jimi Hendrix." And he got home.
Well, no, he went there to play. He went there to see War and Eric Burden. Like
And
he didn't
Jimi
go there
Hendrix.
for Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix just showed up.
just
there.
showed up.
Yeah.
Jesus. Then he gets home, takes his jacket off. He's like, "Honey, could you imagine if Jimmy died in 2 days? That would be devastating." All excited after seeing this.
Is
It's excellent.
Are the Animals British?
I
The
think
Animals,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were British invasion.
Oh yeah, like House of Rising Sun, that Animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if they were American.
Like the animals.
Yeah, like which Animals?
Eric Burden and the Animals.
Yeah, yeah, they're from across the pond.
Okie dokie. Also in 1970, after 8 straight years, the Beatles are finally knocked from their perch as England's top act in the Melody Maker fan poll by Led Zeppelin.
We figured 1970.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
what
Yeah.
was released in 1969?
Led Zeppelin 1
Makes sense.
and Led Zeppelin 2 was released in 1970.
I'm gonna go out there because we all agree highly that the Beatles are overrated. That
Yeah.
this totally
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, 100%
I mean-
makes sense.
I would play
Especially-
any Led Zeppelin record probably over any Beatles record.
Yeah.
in its entirety, front to back.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I
Which-
don't think I would take Into the Outdoor over like Revolver.
Yeah, it's true. Well, time frame. If you base it on like their like releases, like first release against first
I don't
release,
think I
second
would
release.
take Into the Outdoor over Abbey Road either.
No, probably not. But that's probably like that Led Zeppelin. Let's just call
Or
that like,
Presence.
that was a mistake, dude. That album. in my eyes.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's
I
not
still
that
like
good.
it.
It's not that
I'm
good.
just saying.
Wait, which album?
The last or second to last Led Zeppelin
Into
album.
the Outdoor.
Oh,
Yeah. But would you
It's
take?
got All of My Love.
oh, okay.
Would you take
Okay.
the first 4 over any Beatles album? It's a tough one.
See, I do. I always talk about how the Beatles are overrated, but Revolver do get a motherfucker.
Revolver is good. Revolver is definitely their
Um,
best work, dude, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with you on that. I'll take Revolver, and then the White Album are
I do like Abbey
'Cause-
Road though.
Abbey Road's good too, but here's the thing: Sgt. Pepper's is also pretty good, but Revolver is just more compact. Like the White Album,
Yeah.
it's too fucking long.
yeah. It does
Yeah.
have filler.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
be
the
real.
problem.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Fucking-
Revolver
why
I
don't-
think was just perfect.
I can't. There's a couple like real dumb little ditties, Paul McCartney driven on the White Album. I
Yeah.
feel like that are just like, all right, you were just trying to put shit on
Yeah,
here.
like we just yeah.
Yeah, right.
But Helter
We get it,
Skelter, Helter
you're Paul
Skelter's on that
McCartney.
too. Helter Skelter is probably one of my favorite Beatles songs for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason why I actually listened to the White Album because I got to hear that song. I was like, oh shit!
You know, they say that
that
might have been the initial spark for heavy metal.
heavy metal. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
was that
that's a
song.
big thing about it.
My key cuts from the White Album, in case anyone's interested, would be probably "Dear Prudence," "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," and "Happiness Is a Warm Gun."
Good ones.
Yeah. But I do prefer the Breeders' version of "Happiness Is of a Warm Gun" or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
And I like Clapton's version of "While My Guitar
like a Gently Weeps. Yes.
Is there a Clapton version? He
Yes.
played on the Beatles version.
Then they actually
There's
played on
there's
the Last
Clapton
Waltz.
version.
They actually played it live on the Last Waltz or something like that.
Yeah.
I think as well.
Hmm.
That's actually the first time I heard that song. Was Clapton playing it.
Dude, I've always thought that was a cool ass song.
It's a pretty good song.
It's funny with the Last Waltz because Neil Young was never like really the druggy rocker, and he's just like totally strung the fuck out in the Last Waltz. There's,
I
like,
know. You
cocaine
get
hanging
if you
from
that's
his
the
nose.
first time you're seeing Neil Young, you're like, Jesus Christ, this dude's a train wreck.
This
And
guy's
he's
a mess.
never, yeah, dude.
Helpless, helpless, helpless.
Terrible.
1979, Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang is released. It becomes the first rap song to chart on the Billboard Hot 100 chart.
Now, what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat.
That was such a solid song,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
Hell
it's
yeah.
crazy because you hear it all the time. Like anytime you go
Yeah.
to like a wedding or something, like it's just
there.
it gets played.
It could have came out in like 1995 too.
It-
Like
it
it's,
could
it's
have,
got a great sound.
Yeah.
100%
Well, I mean,
could've come out
that's,
in
you
the
figured
90s.
1979. That's kind of like what build for that whole scene, and then you
Mhm.
started seeing rap songs hit the charts, and then there's an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was like hip hop. That was more of like that idea to like get you something to listen to, as opposed to just like straight gangster rap. But that opened the doors to like allow a lot
exactly.
of people.
Well, it definitely paved the road for that.
Yeah.
100%. So I think that was also like the beginning of like starting to use like samples and stuff too.
Yep.
Like
Did it
that-
use samples?
I don't know.
I feel like that song's been sampled a million times.
Oh, it definitely has been
Yeah.
sampled. I mean, I feel like there has to be some sort of sampling on that song,
yeah.
like somewhere.
1988. Phil Collins lands his first leading role in a film, playing real-life criminal Buster Edwards in the box office bomb Buster. Musically, the movie isn't a bust, with 2 #1 hits on the soundtrack. A Groovy Kind of Love and Two Hearts.
I love Two Hearts. That song's awesome.
I don't know that one.
Two hearts living in just one mind. You don't know
Nothing.
that song?
No, sounds
God
pretty
damn.
bad though.
Dude, that song's fucking sweet.
I'm real. Phil Collins.
I was just gonna
not.
say, yeah,
He's like
he doesn't do it for me.
he's cringy for me.
Oh
He
my
really
God.
is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, especially his solo career.
It's like I like fucking In the Air in the Night. But that's about it.
You don't like anything off like Susudio or anything, or like No Jacket Required?
Definitely not No Jacket Required.
No,
No.
No Jacket Required wasn't that bad.
Like
What
what
about
is
Face Value?
Oh, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of that I don't like. Is that the one with In the Air in the Night?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too familiar.
And plus,
but
Phil Collins really had.
I always hear his
giant
shit on the
break.
radio, and I'm like, I fucking hate this guy. And then when I learned the history where he was in like an experimental band with Peter Gabriel, Genesis, and then the reason Peter Gabriel left was because he was always butting heads with his fucking bullheaded drummer. You know what I mean? It's just like fuck Phil Collins.
Phil Collins is one of those like genius music people. Like he really is. He's an extremely good producer.
He's the Dave Grohl of the 80s.
Pretty much, yeah. Good or bad.
Yeah, but the problem is he didn't come from Nirvana.
No, but he came from Genesis. And he was also the drummer.
I know.
There's too many similarities here. We're waiting for Dave Grohl to write his In the Air tonight.
He's got Everlong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna probably be it. I don't think he's got anything else that he could write today that's gonna live up to even just Everlong, let alone.
What
You
about,
take In the Air in the Night over Everlong?
as,
all right,
as
so
a
as-
memorable song.
I was gonna say,
absolutely.
as nostalgic purposes and just more memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess it
dude.
is kind of better.
It's just you can't deny that part.
You know
especially
what?
that part.
I
But
actually heard Everlong the other day for the first time in probably a couple of years,
Yeah.
and the chorus really didn't get me. The verses are great,
Yeah, verses are awesome.
and then the chorus comes, and it's like, anything can ever be this way forever.
I actually like
and the
when they did
video
that
is cool
live.
too. That's another thing. I like the music video.
I like the live version of that song better.
what the acoustic?
No. Like the actual, like what they showed in Foo Fighters Back and Forth when his boy was in the fucking band after Pat left.
Yeah, Franz Stahl.
Yeah, when Franz
Yeah.
was in the band and them two like harmonized for the chorus, like I love that version of that song
Yeah.
because like it, I don't know, it just had like more of a punch. Like I mean, I'm not saying nothing bad about Dave Grohl, but like with having another singer, it added a whole nother level to that song, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. This is episode 22, and these listeners still don't know our exact feelings about Dave Grohl yet.
What do you mean?
No, we had a rant about him in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we love Dave Grohl, but we also are like, what
It's
the
a
fuck,
love-hate
Dave Grohl? Why do you
relationship.
make these mistakes that you shouldn't be making?
Dave Grohl's like the dude you hang out with, but then when he gets drunk, you're like, why did we bring him out? You know what I mean? Like you regret it afterwards.
He's like jumping off the fucking walls, like
Yeah.
dancing on the table and
Or
shit.
he's
It's
like
what the
that.
fuck?
He's like that drug deal. Like you ever
Oh,
see
if I
Pineapple
brought Dave
Express?
Grohl drinking,
Yeah.
I would know exactly.
You
why
remember
I
how
brought
like he's
his
buying
ass.
weed off of James Franco, but
Yeah.
then he like wants to hang out. And you're like, dude, we have a different type of relationship. Like that's Dave Grohl. Like, I like you, dude, but like you're not getting invited to my wedding.
That's funny.
That's like kind of the relationship you have with Dave, dude. Like he putting out music, I'll still listen to the first album. I'll listen to The Color and the Shape, but dude, just don't like. I don't want to see. I'm busy this weekend. I'm sorry. Like that's Dave Grohl for you.
I'll hit you up next weekend.
Yeah. Like I don't see. Like yeah.
The Color and the Shape kind of doesn't really do it for me
Really?
anymore.
Dude,
the
just the
first
way-
one
oh,
and the third
dude,
one
the-
do.
Dude,
I
The
like
Color and the
better
Shape
than the
has
first
such
album.
a cool dynamic, dude.
I like some of the album tracks. I like Wind Up, Enough Space.
Mhm. My Hero.
Not crazy about it anymore. Not really crazy. Never was crazy about Monkey Wrench.
Really, dude. Monkey Wrench is so good.
It's
I
a
was
pretty.
never
It's a really
crazy
cool
about it.
song. That riff is really nice.
Yeah, dude.
I like that riff. It's just cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never crazy about that song.
Oh, dude. And the way it opens up too, it's like real quiet with Doll. and then like Monkey Wrench comes in on the second.
Oh,
it's just it's a
Yeah.
good album, dude. Some of those songs don't stand up to like their later work, but the album itself is just
Yeah.
that's the only Foo Fighters
I
album.
guess Monkey Wrench is all right.
I
It
like
was just
all
never
the
one of my
Color
You gotta
Shade
listen
better
to
than
favorites.
the first.
dude. Do you have the album? I'm sure you do.
Is that a serious question?
Yeah, I know you do, but I'm saying you got to put that back in your car because I know you have several CDs on repeat in the car.
No, I switch them out.
Well, you need to
regularly.
put the Color and Shape back in there.
Right now, my main guys are Cypress Hill, Black Sunday, and Tupac Resurrection.
Yeah, you need to get Color and Shape back in there. Just kind of rebuild the momentum.
Color and Shape has not graced the Toyota's speakers.
That's
as
the
of
problem.
today.
Did it grace the Jeep? Had it ever graced
No,
the Jeep?
probably not.
When was the last? It's probably got dust on it. You got to pull
Fucking
it off the rack. my
Color
man.
and Shape probably ain't got played since before the car I sold Bill.
The Volvo?
Yeah, because that
Dude.
car doesn't have a CD player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to get. Oh, it was all cassettes.
And honestly, before that, I had the fucking white wagon Volvo.
That definitely didn't have a CD
Didn't
player.
have a CD player.
And then the 850 wagon had a CD player.
Well, before that, I had the other Jeep
Oh yeah,
that
that's
didn't
right.
have a CD player.
So you probably haven't listened.
Oh no,
to
that did have
album.
a CD player, but it was horseshit, and I never brought CDs in the car.
Yeah, so you probably haven't listened to Color and Shape in a car since probably high school.
Probably since either the S60 or the black wagon.
Yeah,
Yeah, since like
that's funny.
for those of you that don't know my auto history, that's about between 2010 and 2013. Maybe it was the last time I listened to Color and the Shape while on the move. 2010, country singer Justin Townes Earl is arrested in Indianapolis after storming off stage and trashing a green room. Reports say that Erie was also intoxicated and he allegedly punched a woman backstage. Earl is forced to pay $200 in damages to the venue, but is released from jail on a $150 bond.
$150 bond. He
So-
allegedly punched a woman backstage.
You know, I'm done with this shit.
That's crazy, dude. How you get
Get
out?
over here, bitch.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail.
I guess that's Indianapolis. Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis. It's. I guess that's Indianapolis for you. $150 bond. Allegedly punched a woman. Like, bro, punch a woman in Jersey. You're sitting.
Oh,
in
Don't let it
jail,
happen
dude.
again, buddy.
Years.
Yeah. Don't go out there and do that again, sir.
Don't be stupid now.
Who is Justin Townes Earl?
He's that guy, bro.
Oh, that guy that punches women.
Yeah, he's got eyebrows.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
totally covered in skin, dude. You can't
Speaking
miss
of
him.
Can't miss him.
who's that guy? 2006, 65-year-old Bob Dylan becomes the oldest person to top Billboard's albums charts when Modern Times goes to number 1.
Have you listened to Modern Times?
I actually have. My mom bought that album when it came out.
Yeah, I remember when it came out too.
It's all right.
I was gonna say you like it.
I like the instrumentals on it, I'll say.
Yeah,
And his voice is okay.
yeah. It's
There's-
before
there-
it got totally distasteful.
Whatever the song that had Scarlett Johansson in the video, that song was good. It was like longer. I forget what the hell it
Yeah.
was called, but that song had a good sound.
It's pretty cool though. Top of charts, 65 years old. Because I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him.
He chopped his follow-up to that, Together Through Life, I believe also topped the charts.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in 2008 at Monmouth University.
08, that was that long ago?
Yeah, do you remember
Damn.
when I went to that show?
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, he was horrible. Horrible. The instrumentals, same thing. The instrumentals are fine because he had that backing band, but him just singing like
I
live
vaguely
was-
remember you talking about how bad that was.
Jeff saw him
I-
live and said he walked out.
Really?
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
it
I
was
went-
terrible.
I
It was
went
in,
with,
like
2013
or something.
I went with a certain individual that I was romantically involved with at that period of time.
2014, at a pop-up shop in New York City that recreates the Central Perk shop from the TV show Friends, Danny Wilde and Phil Solom of the Rembrandts reunite to perform the show's theme song. The event marks the 20th anniversary of the show's first episode, Friends.
It's cool.
I'll be there for you.
Do you like Friends?
I've watched the first 2 seasons. I thought it was okay.
I never.
Nah, it's garbage.
Yeah, never was a Friends
Never was a
guy.
fan.
I'm not saying I'm a fan of the Friends TV show. I'm just saying
Yeah.
my wife likes Friends, and I've watched a couple seasons.
Oh, so you were like a victim of circumstance. Fair enough.
I'll be there for her.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Congrats to the Rembrandts for still milking the Friends train
got to.
many years later.
They were a pretty decent one-hit wonder if you think about it. People listen to that song literally on a daily basis, multiple
Yeah.
times a day.
Yep.
Serious people that binge watch that show.
Can you name any members in that band?
I just
Danny Wilde and Phil Solom.
prior to the article we have read.
Absolutely not. Music news. Today in music news, September 16th, 2019. First thing we got here is Jerry Cantrell says Alice in Chains will be taking a couple years off. Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell, guitar player, has revealed the band are set to take some well-deserved time off, reaching the end of its touring cycle of their latest record. This time last year, Alice in Chains were gearing up to release their latest album, Rainier Fog, their first record in 5 years. The release came following some pretty solid years of touring, having only taken time off back in 2011 and 2012. However, the band's recent touring cycle reached an end. Jerry Cantrell has revealed that the members of Alice in Chains are looking set to put their feet up for a well-deserved break. Speaking to Meltdown from Detroit's WRIF radio station, Cantrell explained that while the band have been stoked to visit and perform in such interesting locations, they're eager for a bit of rest. He's quoted here, "Album cycles for us generally are about 3 or 4 years long. When we're done with the tour, we usually take some time to ourselves, and then you probably won't see us for a while because we'll take some time off, and we'll probably start writing some new music and recording it. That usually takes a couple of years. And then we'll put it out and go rock it for a couple of years." He's a genius here.
It's just this is like very adult like of a band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You write a record, you tour heavily for it, you take a break, you start writing music and transitioning back in. Everybody kind of goes their own ways, does their own thing.
Yeah.
They do tour heavy as hell.
They do, and that's
It's like we say it every episode.
Yeah.
They're here.
You will
every
always
year.
you have an opportunity to see Alice in Chains at all times. Now
Not
here's
for a
the
couple
thing,
of years
though.
now.
Yeah, and the thing about it is cool to hear the songs that Lane was a part of, as well as hearing some of the newer tunes. And I'll just say this: like Alice in Chains, they put on good shows and they put it on for a decent price.
Yeah.
When they came to BB&T, I think the tickets initially were like $25, and they were also playing with Korn.
Mhm.
So you figure Korn, I'm not a huge fan, but they have a solid fan base. But
And
for
Under Oath.
yeah, oh yeah, Under Oath. They
Who
weren't even on
also
the
has-
bill listed, and originally it was just Korn and Alice in Chains.
Well, Under Oath has a pretty big fan base too.
Exactly. I know some people that went for Under Oath.
Yeah.
You know, having Alice in Chains and Korn, you know, being the co-headliners of that tour. It's just
Honestly, I think that's why I didn't buy tickets for it initially, because I didn't care to see Korn.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Korn
just,
fans.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'd already seen Alice in Chains last year.
yeah. But it is cool. Like you have that opportunity. Let's, you know, as much as I don't really agree with them continuing to put out new music, because I like, for instance, I never go and listen to the new records before I listen to the older era of Alice in Chains.
Oh yeah. That's understandable.
But as like a band and musicians, like this is how it should be done. You're not killing yourselves out there.
Exactly.
You're taking that time, and then when you go to write new music, it's just
well, the thing is, they don't have
a
to do that
business.
anymore.
yeah,
Like they're in like the stage of their career to where if they wanted to just stop, they
could.
could.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think they have any kind of contractual agreements anymore with the record label. They couldn't.
Yeah, if they stopped, if they just like said we're actually wrapping it up, I think they would actually get a lot of respect. Even like
Yeah.
you guys came back for a second run, you decided you weren't done yet.
And gave
You
it a
know, you
decent
had
run,
a very
too.
successful like new
Well-
incarnation.
Well,
and
the thing
then
is, too, with the
before it
recent
got
release
tired,
of
you
William
stopped.
Duvall's fucking new solo album, I
Yeah.
think there's definitely some juice left in that tank there. Like, I don't think they're going to be stopping anytime soon.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so either. But
and you know Jerry, I mean, he's always just able to create something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just one
Although-
of those artists that can just continue to put out decent tunes.
Jerry Cantrell's already 50. Can you see
Yeah.
him? He's 52. Can you
I
you
could
see
s-
him doing this at 60?
So I could see him. Yeah, actually, I could. But here's the thing: I could
Yeah.
see him writing music wise. I don't see him continuing to put out new albums like that. But I could see him up there touring. Not the same. I
No.
mean, but just
Not
think-
Alice in Chains.
No. I could definitely see him touring. Actually, you know what I
Yeah.
could see is more of like like an In Your Honor type deal where they play like Jar of Flies mostly, or like Sap.
yeah,
And like they do like a greatest hits fucking tour where they
Bro,
play
think
like
of,
like
like,
half acoustic, half like the heavier stuff.
yeah. Think of like Black Sabbath's reunion.
Do you
Look
think
at
the drummer's
Tony
going to be
Iommi
able to
out
do
there.
that?
Sean Kinney, dude, that guy. I'm pretty sure Sean Kinney is in the middle of like a fucking bike like trek, like from concert to concert, like what Neil Peart did from Rush. That dude's in fucking peak physical performance.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains' drums require such.
So I can see that.
I'm pretty sure I read that. I could be wrong.
No, I'm saying with the tour aspect, not the little bike trek.
Oh yeah,
Because you figure, like I said, with Black Sabbath's reunion, Tony Iommi's up there still fucking shredding.
Not
Yeah.
the drummer though.
Well,
They had Brad Wilk from Rage
Bill
on that
Ward, I mean, just
on the album anyway. I don't know who toured.
drummers are a little different because they kind of get.
It was
like, beat
Ozzy's
up
touring
over a
drummer
period of
that
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm sure if Brad Wilk played on the album, Bill Ward didn't play on the tour.
I mean, you figure
Yeah.
Alice in Chains was big, obviously in the '90s, going towards the 2000s. But even think of like Dave Lombardo from Slayer. He's
Yeah.
still out there touring heavy. Played with Suicidal Tendencies. He's touring with the Misfits right now. He's older. And he's able to do it. It just all depends on some
How
drummers. has some-
determined you are to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But how, drumming wise, you got to keep yourself in better, physical condition.
Speaking of determination, Foo Fighters hope new album drops by next year after working on some demos. Speaking of Dave Grohl from earlier, Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins just revealed some new information about the band's next album. The band hasn't released an album since September 2017's Concrete and Gold. Hawkins told fans that the band plans to release their 10th studio album next year in an interview with Rock Sound. He's quoted with, "From what I've heard from our fearless leader, Dave Grohl, he has a lot of demos that he's worked on, and I think we'll start once this tour is over. I think not too soon after that, we'll start the process of putting the songs together as a band." Well, that
Maybe they'll
shows you
call it 10. Foo Fighters 10.
FF10.
I could see them calling it like X or something.
Foo Fighters X.
Yeah.
As much as they're falling off, every single one of us sitting here is going to listen to their new album.
Yeah.
No, I haven't listened to any of their albums since.
Yeah, but
Wasting
you'll at
Light.
least listen to a track off it.
Yeah,
Like, once
Yeah,
their
I'll
single
check out the
gets
first
released.
That's what I'm
single,
saying,
and I haven't liked any of their first singles even since Wasting Light, so I haven't
Yeah.
gone to the album. I figure if a band can't make a single that I like, they're not gonna.
That's how it starts. I always will listen to the single, whatever they first track released, like a couple months before the album. And that's the same thing with Foo Fighters. I haven't listened to any of their albums in quite some time, like front to back, but I always check out the singles.
Yeah.
And if you don't go to check them out, just put on the radio. I'm sure you'll hear it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of someone else you'll hear on the radio constantly.
Jesus Christ.
Episode 22. Metallica's James Hetfield is loaning 10 classic cars to the Peterson Automotive Museum exhibit. Metallica frontman James Hetfield's collection of classic hot rods will apparently be the stars of an upcoming exhibit at the Los Angeles Peterson Automotive Museum in February. Hetfield, who was recently named a founding member of the museum, will loan out 10 of his cars for an upcoming exhibit in the Bruce Meyer Family Gallery, as the museum announced during its annual press conference. The list of cars include the Voodoo Priest, based on a 37 Lincoln Zephyr, a 36 Auburn Roadster named Slowburn, a 36 Ford in bare metal called Iron Fist, a purple F-100 pickup, a 52 Oldsmobile named Grinch, and Skyscraper, a 53 Buick Skylark. The cars will go on display alongside artifacts and memorabilia from Hetfield and Metallica's private collections. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that he is a founding member of this museum, and it's an automotive museum. I mean, I know you're not a giant car guy, Steve, but me personally, if I was out in California or something, I'd probably go to this museum. Not just for James Hetfield, but just to see like the cars.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It just shows you that he's got more to him than just Metallica.
Of course, I mean, it's the idea of hobbies that they have outside of their
Exactly.
talents. I mean, it's not that I'm not into cars; I just don't care as much as like car collectors. I mean, I appreciate a Hemi engine and a Dodge Charger.
Mhm.
I appreciate the new Challengers. I'm a huge muscle car fan.
Oh, you like the new Challengers?
I do.
If you could get
Especially
if you had 30 grand and you could get any car currently on the market for 2019, what would you get?
Probably for 30 grand.
30 grand, 2019.
2019.
No, I'll even say fuck it.
Probably
I'll say 40
probably-
grand.
probably-
40 grand.
Probably either a new Jeep or a Silverado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good choice. Except for the Jeep.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the new Jeep pickups?
The Gladiator?
The Wrangler body.
Yeah,
the
I
Wrangler
mean,
body.
They
with the-
look cool, but
They're bad as hell.
yeah, dude.
I'm sure they're not going to be crazy reliable.
Yeah, that's why I said the Silverado for reliability's
Mhm.
sake. Any truck that I would ever get would be a Silverado over Ford or Dodge.
Yeah.
Chevy runs deep, son.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
bomb. A bomb.
This is a
American.
They don't even
A
say
bomb
built Ford
American.
tough in the commercials anymore. They
'Cause
just
they know
says
what's
built
up.
Ford proud.
They know what's up, man. They know
They're
what's
like,
up.
yeah,
at
this
least
shit
they're
ain't tough.
humble about it. But aside from that, with the whole classic car things. It is cool because living on Haddon Ave, like you get those car shows from time to time, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's cool. I mean, just the idea that you're, going to an auction for a car that's not only just a classic car in general, but that was owned by James Hetfield.
Yeah.
I mean, the backstory
Is
behind
owned
it's
by
pretty cool.
James
Yeah,
Hetfield.
currently owned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, talking about, bands like Metallica, they've had some flops in their day, if you will.
Yeah, and this is a great topic you're starting to kind of talk about here, Bill, because this was the thing. We ironically talked, I believe it was last week, about the idea of certain albums that should have kind of like shined a light that never got the opportunity.
Yes.
So on the flip side of that, there's several albums out there, and not even just for the sake of what they sold or whatever, but just the idea of being a flop album, like the anticipation for hype.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring this up to just start. And then obviously, I know you have something, Bill, to talk about, but the idea that Tool just had dropped an album on the 30th of August. Now, here's the thing with Tool. Tool, that album was so anticipated. I'm going to go out there and just be totally blunt about it. I haven't listened to it yet. Reason beyond that is because I ordered a vinyl that's supposed to be signed by Alex Gray, who's the artist who does all the artwork for Tool. It was $77. I felt it was necessary. Issue is I don't have a fucking record player. So I'm waiting for this vinyl as well as to purchase a record player, and I refuse to listen to the tracks on YouTube or Apple streaming because it's just, again, the hype.
It's so quiet on that shit.
That's
It's
what I'm
so
saying.
Annoying.
I feel
listen
like-
to YouTube in the car. And I'm
Yeah,
like, Jesus
dude.
Christ,
And I
it's
feel like
so
you're
quiet.
missing some of like the the vibe of like their songs, because Tool also produces a lot of ambient sound that you really need to hear, like the quality of it.
exactly.
But here's the thing with the hype. I mean, I'm already reading reviews. People are not fucking happy, and then there are some people that are just like, how are you not? This is Tool. And the hype, I think, really
Exactly.
put it on such a pedestal. So I know for you, and this is the thing, I guess we'll discuss, all have personal opinions as well as across the board opinions on albums that didn't live up to the hype. And I know, Bill, you have probably one of the biggest ones in that sense.
Guns N' Roses, Chinese Democracy.
Fucking, 20-year wait?
Yeah.
15, I think.
Yeah, 15-year wait, $13 million spent for a literal pile of hot garbage.
Didn't he at one point say that he had like 150 tracks recorded or some crazy
Yeah, it
number?
was something
How many
absolutely
guitarists recorded on that
I remember
album?
reading
50.
an interview when I was in
50
like
guitar
7th
players.
grade in like 2005 that like it was like Sebastian Bach talking about Chinese Democracy and saying that like the album was going to be insane. It could end up being like a triple album, musical masterpiece. It was going to have like thrash songs, like classic Guns N' Roses songs, like Elton John, like epic ballads.
I just remember
like, all this
hearing like the
crazy
small
shit.
article that Buckethead is like recording, and everyone's holy crap, these songs are probably good. And he was like on what, like 15 minutes of audio that actually
Yeah,
was
I
like
think so.
recorded.
I know-
Buckethead was in Guns N' Roses for like a year in the late 90s.
Yeah, he
or
was a
something.
He was a
touring
touring
member.
musician,
Yeah.
But I'm saying he was like the amount of guitars that were on that record is like insane, and the fact that they produced such bullshit,
Tommy Stinson's all over that record though.
Yeah.
it's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yep.
He plays on every song probably.
So
Yeah, I think he does.
and this is like across the board. I mean,
He's out of
Connor-
Guns N' Roses now though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Duff is back now.
Yeah.
Connor, you bought it, right?
Chinese Democracy.
I had it. I don't know what the hell happened to it.
I was with him the day he bought it.
Where did you buy it, and how much did it cost?
Best Buy, $1.
It was in
$1.
the
I'll
fabled
never forget that. It was
Oblivion
brand
bin.
new.
Yep.
Brand new at Best Buy, still sealed in cellophane.
And how long has it been out at that point?
Not
Years.
long.
Yeah,
It-
it had been out for a while.
2 years tops.
Okay.
$1 for a
$1.
Guns N' Roses album that Sebastian Bach possibly hailed to be a fucking masterpiece.
This is that fabled Oblivion bin that I talk about all the time.
yeah.
This album was
gone
in there
now.
like Van Halen 3 and like the Best of Slaughter
Yeah.
and like that one obscure Ozzy live album that nobody wanted and like like the 20th century
The
greatest
Ozman
hits
cometh.
from like Enter Artist Here.
Kids Bop 4.
Yeah, it was in that bin.
It's
And
funny.
you didn't have to dig for it.
Yeah, it's funny with the Best Buy thing because Bill, you had looked it up. Best Buy actually bought for exclusive rights. What they pay? They bought
they bought 1.3 million units.
Yeah, they bought 1.3 million units, and it took them 6 months to hit gold. Which obviously a lot of those
500,000.
sales. Yeah, that's 500,000 copies. It's not even. That's just about a third.
In 2014, it had finally sold 621,000.
And that's when they fucking discounted that shit to like, hey,
Well, no, that was 2014. then.
Yeah.
It was 2 years after its release. They
Is when they
dropped it. They
discounted it?
dropped it to $2.
Oh my
And then that's
God.
when it saw a resurgence of like, I think it was like 6,500 records sold that week.
Oh,
And then now it's a fucking $1 and you could probably find it for 50 cents somewhere.
Well, you'd have to get it on the internet used now. They didn't make any more copies of that
Yeah,
motherfucker.
that's,
how much do you think that
Thank
would cost
God.
if you sold in tunes right now?
they would probably just go, sorry, this
Uh,
isn't a dump.
It's hard to say because tunes might just be like, well, we don't have any copies of this. Someone's gonna eventually get curious about it and want to buy it. So
then probably
$3.99
raise the
and
price
it would
up
be
a
kind of
little
like
bit.
normal.
I'm
Almost.
pretty sure though around that time was when I was like CD shopping with you, and we used to go to Tunes a lot, and I'd always check out like the Misfits, and they would always have like the most like the Monster Mash album with
Yeah.
like weird. But
They
I
only
remember,
had
I remember specifically going to the Guns N' Roses section. And that was around that time, and like I guess 20.
they always have all the old
2012 or
stuff.
something. Yeah, but there was like I think like 8 copies of Chinese Democracy in there at one point. I think they were like selling for like 75 cents.
Honestly,
or like
dude, what it just
$1.50.
was, it was Axl trying to live off the name of Guns N' Roses. People
Absolutely.
were excited because the last like
Was-
real like release was Use Your Illusions 1 and 2.
Yeah, because Spaghetti incident actually
Yeah.
came after that. Before
94.
Yeah, that was the last album to be released prior
yeah, but
to.
no, that was already
like-
poorly received.
Oh, of course.
It was a
I mean,
cover
well,
album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's the thing though. He was the hype was, oh my god, this is new Guns N' Roses material.
yeah,
We're hearing for a decade now that this is the shit.
yeah.
This is going to be huge, and then you put it on. I forget what the first track even was. I remember we listened to it. We're like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This is horrible." And then I think we wrote a Chinese Democracy, or actually, I replayed Chinese Democracy later that night after I got done eating my Taco Bell.
Even like, I kind of want to listen to it again now. Damn, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Simple. All the good members of Guns N' Roses left.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm saying I kind of want to listen to Chinese Democracy now. I'm like curious about it all over again, even though
Yeah,
I
I'm
know, even
kind-
though I
oh, I
know
thought you
how
meant,
it
like,
ends.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm probably gonna listen to it after.
I thought you
this.
meant like, how did this happen? How they make this album that was so bad?
Like
I was
I'm
it's
I'm gonna
simple.
go stream it, but I'm not gonna download it to my phone. It's like when
Yeah.
you open up an incognito tab. You know
Open
what I
up
mean?
a private tab,
Yeah,
on your
dude.
iPhone.
Yep. I don't want anybody knowing that I'm listening to this
Guilty
album.
pleasure.
Yeah, dude.
I got to dig up the CD. No one will know.
Yeah, dude. Like you go into Tunes in like a cloak with sunglasses. Like, yo, man, you got any Chinese Democracies?
It's gonna be like the end of the first Jumanji movie, the one with Robin Williams. where
Yes.
At the very end, it's like a sand. They're on like a beach, and the
Yes,
kids like
yes.
digging through the sand.
Yes, dude. There it is,
Chinese
dude.
Democracy.
There it is. Yo, so I mean, that's the thing with this. I mean, I don't want to get too hung up on this because that was probably one of the most
I got a good
notorious
album to
flops.
bring
What
up.
do you got?
Pinkerton.
Oh, pff.
But here's the
Wait,
thing.
wait.
Pinkerton,
You didn't like Pinkerton?
well, it's not underrated.
No, absolutely not.
Um,
I'm not saying that. I just want to say albums that like maybe you personally.
no, I
didn't
actually
feel
don't
like.
really like Pinkerton anymore, though. I
Yeah?
kind of fell off with Pinkerton. I think it's whiny and kind of
What
annoying.
was the Blue album released before?
Yeah,
that?
the Blue
That
album was
the
their
one that
first
came out right
album.
before.
Buddy Holly, Undone.
Pinkerton was the second.
Yeah.
Really? I
Mhm.
thought Pinkerton was later. So I guess in that sense after the
Yeah,
Blue
Pinkerton was
album.
later.
But I'm saying like way later.
Nah, it was Blue album was 94, Pinkerton was 96 or 97.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I
Um,
guess in that sense it's a little fucked up.
But Pinkerton flopped when it came out, and then like around like 2004, 2005, you started having like emo bands blew up, and they all loved Pinkerton.
Yeah,
And then Pinkerton started getting props for being
crops sound like corn.
yeah.
Crops on props, right?
They started getting credit for inspiring a new genre or whatever
Yeah,
with Pinkerton, but now I've kind of gone back and I feel like Pinkerton was kind of just like a In Utero knockoff.
well, yeah. I mean,
It's just, I mean, and when they made it, they kind of thought of it like that, but they were like, but we'll make pop songs instead of noisy songs.
what was
Like-
on Pinkerton?
El Scorcho,
Okay.
The Good Life,
Hmm.
Pink Triangle.
And then what came out immediately? What
Get
came out
You.
after that?
the Green Album was like after a hiatus, like it was
Okay.
like 4 or 5
And
years
that
later.
had like Beverly Hills and shit on it.
Nah, that had Island in the Sun, Hash
Oh,
Pipe.
okay.
Yeah.
See, my whole Weezer
And then they had
discography,
another
dude, was all
album after
messed up.
that before
Make Believe.
Make Believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of the songs on that one were real big. That song Dope Nose and Keep Fishing.
Yeah.
I don't remember how any of them go.
Weezer, dude, in my opinion, is one of those bands where it's like it's not an album band, and like there's like select songs.
The Blue Album is the only piece of work that I can stand from them anymore. I don't like Pinkerton or the Green Album. I don't stick up for them anymore.
Yeah,
They're too boring.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Pinkerton, again, I didn't realize that came out right after the Blue Album because I don't like the sound difference. Because the Blue Album, it's kind of like Green Day, like Dookie. I can listen to Dookie, but then like everything that came after that started to get really redundant and just kind of
Yeah.
like boring, dude.
Yeah.
They lost that whole edge.
Yeah, exactly.
One album I will say, and Bill, you can probably relate as well as Connor. So the band that we had mentioned earlier, the band that we talk about every fucking time on this thing. Do you guys remember the album Lulu?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Lou Reed
Lulu.
and Metallica.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, that was anticipated.
It was
That
very
was
anticipated.
highly anticipated.
Yeah,
And
they
that-
thought that was going to be groundbreaking.
And that was
The Scarlet Letter of Lou Reed.
yeah,
That
that should
was-
have been in the Oblivion bin.
Yeah, I don't even think you could find that.
I don't
in
even-
stores
yeah,
anymore.
Couldn't
dude,
find a
this is
better
gonna-
flop.
Yo, listen, this is probably an album you're gonna have to hold on to because it's gonna be like Beanie Babies of like the modern
Oh,
era,
yeah,
where it's
well,
gonna like
If
Yeah.
you
cost
see that
money.
CD anywhere, buy it because they're not making any more of them.
It's just,
I'll
dude,
tell you
it's
that.
so.
Don't even listen to it.
Put it this way: the
Just fucking put it
genre
in a
they have it
box.
listed.
Leave it in
Sell
the
it when you
cellophane.
retire.
They have the genre listed as avant-garde metal. I mean,
Oh my god,
that's enough to kind of say it. But then it's like you see Lou Reed's face slapped on with the idea of Metallica providing instrumentals as well as like a compilation.
They should have
between
called it
the two.
Metallic Underground.
They called the album Lulu. It's like what was that Lou Reed's like pet name in
Or
the
Velvetica.
60s?
you know, Lars is sitting there coming in like a cigarette and shit. Like, come here, Lulu.
Hey,
We got to talk about this.
Lulu, we need you to put down some more vocals here. Lulu, could you do me a favor and
Is
run to
Lars
the store?
British all of a sudden?
Yeah, that's my Lars impression. It's like the sophisticated guy
Lars
that has
just
a
sounds
cigarette.
like a fucking asshole. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing over there?
And then we like did this.
Are you
thing,
downloading
know.
my shit?
But everybody, he always sounds like he's got like drool built up in his mouth. Like,
You guys, like, you know, you just want to like get this
Yeah.
thing done, and then you just got like we weren't able to do it because they downloaded our songs legally.
like
Yeah.
drool's like building up in his mouth, and it's about to like come out on his
Dude,
lip.
one of these days, Lars is going to hear this fucking podcast.
I hope
He's
so,
gonna find
dude.
us.
And listen, this is the thing,
we
Lars.
I don't give a fuck.
Pulls
Lars
up
is-
in a 1958 Jaguar. It's worth like $200,000, and he's like talking shit.
Lars is like the
Boys.
type of dude that I would like allow me to beat me up just to like get it on camera. Like, dude, I'm getting beat up by Lars Ulrich. This is funny as hell.
Can you use drumsticks?
Yeah.
Lars, come on. There's better lighting over here.
Come beat me up under the light, Lars.
Oh my god. And then I mean another one too. I mean Pixies. Do you remember Indy Cindy?
Oh,
Remember that
true.
huge stretch?
Yeah,
That
I was sitting here
13
thinking it was
years.
anything by the Pixies ever actually anticipated.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they
Yeah, because
when the
Trump
fir-
Le Mans came out in '91, and then Indy
Indy
Cindy didn't
Cindy.
come out till 2014.
Yeah,
But that lineup was all fucked up.
Bag Boy was all right.
That's the single.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that album, like that's another band that just like you just watched them like plummet, you know, and it's just like they've never been able to come back.
Well, for me, it's just kind of no Kim Deal, no Pixies.
exactly.
No
That's
Kim
how I
Deal,
feel
no
too.
deal.
Yeah,
for
totally.
real.
Totally. But yeah, that's like another album because the Pixies, especially with like, you know, even I think Bossa Nova was right before Trompe la Mode, and then
You know what Tromplemon means in French?
what?
Fool the world.
That's interesting. But yeah, that's another album that really just kind of shit the bed. I mean, personally, these are albums that more so had the hype. I mean, I wasn't so invested, obviously, waiting for an album from,
Hmm.
you know, 91 to 2014. But, you know, personally,
Smashing Pumpkins, Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, that album sucked.
It's terrible.
The only song I like from that is "That's the Way My Love Is."
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah.
My love is.
And then
But
that's
he
the
wrote
thing.
that in the Melancholy Sessions as well.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's Kingdom Come. That
Yeah.
album came out immediately after Collision Course, and it wasn't anything special.
Did
Bill-
it have any singles? What was the single from that?
Actually, I don't think Kingdom Come had any singles that I have actually ever even heard of. I just know I know that it's hailed as like one of Jay-Z's like most experimental albums that wasn't really as experimental, and it shouldn't have been. And honestly, for his legacy, he probably just should have stopped after Collision Course.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Collision Course was badass. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Collision
Linkin
Course
Park.
was fucking awesome. You got any other ones, Steve?
So I say we all come to a general consensus and we all
Okay.
pick just one album. It doesn't even have to be like on paper a bad album, but just from a band you enjoy that released a poor album. So mine, and Bill, you're probably going to disagree with this, but it's the 6th studio album
Oh my god.
by Eminem, released in 2009 following Encore. The album is called Relapse. I'll tell you right now, bud, you're going to be upset about that because I know how you feel about those later albums. But dude,
I think Relapse gets a lot of shit for no reason.
but you have to think,
It's
dude.
not
think
as
it's-
consistent.
I
Think
think it's
about
better
this.
than Encore.
Of course, but that's the problem. You think you have Eminem show, fire, Encore, and then you have this break for like 5 years. I think Encore came out in 04,
Mhm.
Relapse comes out in 09, and everybody was expecting it. And it was like true to form Eminem, but it's like he just doesn't have it anymore. That's how I felt.
It was almost
listening to
kind of
it.
like Eminem released like a good load and reload with fucking Eminem show and Encore, and then
I mean-
followed up with like a bad Black album with Relapse.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel
Yeah.
like some of those songs were
Well,
like
Eminem
forced.
show was like And Justice for All, though. Eminem show was awesome, dude.
Then Encore was I guess Encore is
Encore-
the Black album.
Encore could be the Black
True.
album.
So then this would be load.
Some
No, this
shady
is-
LPs
this could be a
kill 'em
load.
all.
No, this would be Reload. This wouldn't even be Load. This would be the Reload album because it's tolerable, but I prefer Load over
Eminem
Reload.
Oh, okay.
stole his career's trajectory from Metallica.
Ooh.
This
He
just
based
shows
his
once
album's
again,
career
Can't you get
reach
away
off
from it?
the
Yeah.
thrash
Everything.
legends.
Metallica is somehow the center of the universe at this podcast. Everything.
And like
We
it's
could be
not even like
talking-
we script this shit.
Yeah.
It just comes up. It's just so easy. They fall into every category.
Did you know that James Hetfield actually tuned Robert Johnson's guitar in 1936? So technically, Metallica is responsible for 90% of the music we
For the
listen to.
devil at the crossroads.
Yeah, Robert Johnson didn't meet the devil. He met James
Now,
Hetfield.
back to
Lars is
Relapse
just,
for
like,
a minute.
lurching in the
Is
back.
there any songs off Relapse that you actually like or no? Or is it just as a whole you just don't enjoy the album? at all?
Album wise,
Buffalo
yeah,
Bill was on Relapse,
Buffalo Bill
right?
was
Yeah,
good.
I like that
That's what I'm
one.
saying.
3 a.m. My
Three-
Mom.
Oh, that was
3
on the
a.m.
refill though. That wasn't on the regular album.
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, well,
But
when
that was
I
a good
talk
song.
about Relapse, I talk about Refill and Relapse.
Stay Wide Awake.
Yeah,
was
I'm
good.
talking
Yeah.
about the straight 2009.
Bagpipes
the
from
initial
Baghdad.
release.
Not
Crack
crazy
the bottle.
about that
3
one.
a.m. was on it.
3
3
a.m.
was
Yeah.
good.
But that's Beautiful was on it. We Made You.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Here's the
was
thing,
good.
though, man. Those,
We Made
those
You's
songs,
garbage.
Yeah, I was.
I think it was just like the hype allowed you to enjoy them, and I think that's the same thing when I first heard Tool's title track off the album. Like, it's
Yeah.
just you want to listen to it, so you're gonna have a different view. But now looking back as an album, after especially the disappointment from Encore, this just didn't live up.
I would
Yeah.
give Encore like a 3.5 out of 5, maybe.
Ooh.
Nah, probably a 3
2.5.
3 out of 5.
I think it's too goofy compared to
I would
Eminem
get it-
show.
I would give
Yeah,
it-
Encore is a really goofy album.
I would give it a 60%.
Okay.
And then-
Encore?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
55,
Yeah,
Yeah, but what would you put Eminem show? Like 80, 90?
90.
90?
yeah, somewhere.
And
in
then I
there,
put
80,
the
90,
other
maybe
two, Slim
85.
Shady and Marshall Mathers, like 95, 97. Like
But
almost there.
Relapse, I would probably put at like 2 out of 5.
I
Two
put
and a
it
half,
just
2.5
slightly
out of
better.
5, not
Okay,
3,
so
like
slightly,
50%.
okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I like half the album, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean it's not like the Eminem show where you can listen to it from start to finish. But
And
the
I'll say-
tracks off that album are good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of harsh. Like a 2.5 out of 5 album, I'll still listen to
Yeah.
occasionally. It's not like I just listen to albums that I would give 5 stars all day.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
of
There's-
course.
There's only so many of those, and you get tired of them.
Of course.
But
Yeah, pick one album, Bill.
Easy. Van Halen's A Different Kind of Truth. This was like the most hyped album of all time.
What was that? The first one back with David Lee Roth?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So you have to think about it. David Lee Roth left Van Halen in '84. He comes back in 2012. They're like, oh my god, what is this going to be?
Is that with Tattoo?
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you put it on and tattoo, and it's like, oh, what?
It's like it's Jump all over again.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Did you not learn your lesson?
Like I said before, there's one song that I really enjoy, but it's because it's an outtake from 1984. That's really the only reason I like it. And like being like a diehard fan of this band, it's just like it didn't live up to the hype at all. But you'll have nutcases that are like, this is great.
Percentage wise, where would you put that on 1 to 100?
Oh my god, it would be in the 40s.
Yeah,
honestly.
That high though?
I mean, because
I think
Van
anything
Halen
under
3
is
Van Halen 3 would be below that. I mean,
You like A Different Kind of Truth better than Van Halen 3?
yes, I like it better than Van Halen 3, but the only reason it's a 40 is because it's still Van Halen.
What about
you know?
Balance? You'll take Balance over A Different Kind of
Yeah.
Truth, you think? Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Like if James Hetfield, the devil, came to you and said, "I'm throwing you to a desert island, and boy, you can take these one of these two albums with you. You got Van Halen,
this is at the crossroads.
Balance, or Van Halen, Different Kind of Truth." You're taking Balance.
I'll 100% take Balance over.
This is the
Different
best
Kind of
way
Truth.
I can explain if you can really at least listen to an album. Let's say you're in the car and you have the CD, and it's the only CD you have on you. Are you going to listen to the CD, or are you going to take your chance with the radio?
Take my chance with the radio
We wouldn't listen to
because
the
I
album.
know they'll never play Tattoo on the radio again.
So if you're on like a 45-minute road trip, you rather just like surf the radio than listen
Yeah.
to that album.
Yeah, I'd rather just click scan. And
Really?
just let the radio just go through. Honestly,
See, that's how I could judge it. Like if you really like
Yeah,
can at least tolerate it, that like I would rather
dude.
listen
If you
to
go
this
on my
album
phone, I don't have any songs from that album on my phone
Really?
at all.
I'm surprised you don't have like just their whole discography.
Actually,
on principle.
I have that one song, Blood and Fire. It's the only song from that album I have
Oh,
on my
wow.
phone. I refuse to have the album on there. I bought it and gave it away. I gave it to my Uncle Mike. I was like, "Hey, you got to hear this new Van Halen."
What,
You
gave
can
him the
keep
CD?
it.
I gave him the CD.
You can keep it.
Yeah, I never got it back.
You should have kept it.
So
You can find them in the Oblivion bins now.
Of
You
course.
probably can't. 'cause they
I
probably-
did see one at Tunes once.
oh wow.
No, Jupiter. I saw it at Jupiter.
Probably won't see it again anytime soon.
It's all right. I
What
guess.
So Connor, what do you what's like your
I'm bringing
one?
it back to Foo Fighters.
Which album?
Echoes.
Oh,
There we go.
Preceded by The Pretender,
yeah.
the most densely played alternative rock song
Jesus
in history on
Christ,
modern
dude.
rock
But
radio
there's
up
so
to
many
that
better
point.
songs in that album.
I know.
Summer's End blows the fucking shit out of anything else. that
Not,
releases
I
a
wouldn't say
single.
so many better songs.
Maybe not so many, but Summer's End as as that one thing, they should have released that as a single off that
Home
album.
That
was a
song-
giant pile of shit.
Yeah.
That song literally killed the
Um,
album for me though. I think that was the problem is
What, The
because
Pretender?
yeah, because it almost
Long
took
Road to
tears
Ruin,
away
not
the
crazy
time.
about.
Yeah.
Music
That-
video was cool.
What year did that come out?
07 maybe.
Yeah, we were in.
This
we were
was
in
the
high school.
beginning
Yeah.
of like me being like, oh shit, Foo Fighters are gonna start getting bad. Like
Mhm.
they're not what they used to be. They stopped being like alternative, and that was when they started going for like classic rock horse shit.
Yeah.
Like Dave Grohl was saying in interviews that like he doesn't want to be punk rock anymore. He wants to be Steely Dan, and I was like, this is not going to be good.
It's not gonna work, bud.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go from drummer in Nirvana.
To Ricky, don't lose that number.
Yeah.
It's the only. Actually, now that I'm singing that, it does kind of sound like Dave Grohl, like modern day. It's the only one you know. Like I could see him getting into that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, I think these are all pretty solid choices for albums that did not live up to the hype at all.
All I'm gonna say is
this is
everyone
actually
should-
kind of a fun topic.
yeah.
too.
Everyone should give those
Echoes
albums a listen
also
just
their-
for the purpose.
The fans agreed. Their first album to not go platinum.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes.
Yes, it does, especially for Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't gone platinum since.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it kind of gives you like sort of a reason to shit on albums.
Put it this way, dude. I'm gonna listen to Chinese Democracy when we're done here, just because I have to now, because I need to refresh how fucking awful.
I don't even
it is.
remember
It's
any
fun.
of the songs on that
The
album.
revelation
honestly.
that Chinese Democracy is actually the finest Guns N' Roses album.
Yeah,
you just
right?
don't understand it.
I'm gonna come back here next week and be like, listen, man. You know.
Next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be here next week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the announcement.
This is the end.
Yeah.
My only
So,
friend, the end.
Yeah, this is going to be my last week, everybody, for quite some time here at Rage Against the Mainstream. Yeah, I'm just like the Descendants. Milo goes to college. Steve is actually going to college.
Steve-O goes to college.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm taking up a major in bowling industry management and technology. I'm going to Vicentis University in Indiana. Going to be
Nice.
taking courses for lane and pin setter maintenance. I will also be taking bowling lanes management and pro shop operations and instruction. So yeah, I'm literally going to invest 4 years of my life to manage a bowling alley. I like the Big Lebowski, put it that way.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
Doesn't anybody give a shit about the rules?
yeah. I don't bowl on Saturdays.
What was the
I don't
kid's
roll on Shabbos.
What was the kid's name who we thought he was breaking his car and it was the neighbors? He kept saying his name.
Oh my god.
It's like Andrew or something. Was it Andrew?
This is what happens when you fuck somebody.
Like he's just freaking out like John Goodman. That's his
The
best
fucking-
role.
The dude
It is probably one of his best roles, dude.
the guy's in the iron lung and he's sitting there talking to the kid. Oh my god, what the fuck was that kid's name? This is
Fuck.
what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass, Donnie. No,
Don-
not Donnie.
Nah, Donnie was
Donnie's Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. That was just so fucking funny. That movie's so great.
So what you have in the cart? My briefcase and some Credence tapes. Then he gets the message on the fucking thing. What's her name? Not Julianne Moore. It's yeah, it is Julianne Moore. I was gonna say because I always get them mixed up from fucking Hannibal and Silence. Yeah, but Julianne Moore calls.
Maud.
And then yeah, like where he's like, so what about like my briefcase and my Credence tapes? You know?
Literally, because of that movie, whenever I have a car with a tape player, I just have this old ass copy of Credence
You have to.
Chronicle,
Yeah.
and it
You
doesn't
have
have the
to.
case or anything,
have
but it's
to.
always in the center console because I'm just like, he's kind of right. Like, if you don't have anything else to listen to and you have a tape player, like Credence Chronicle
is-
always hits
Yeah.
the fucking spot.
It's weird, dude, that you
Yeah.
mentioned that because my stepmom in the Blazer, she had that greatest hits by Credence, the one where it's got, like,
Chronicle.
yeah, I think it is with the pictures of all
Yep.
of them.
Yeah.
Just the
Chronicle
heads.
hits the spot,
Yeah,
man.
that's weird,
It's
dude.
probably it's in the top 5 greatest compilation albums of all
That probably
time in my
that's
book.
like in the mid 2000s. That probably came with every car when you bought it,
Probably.
like fresh formats and Credence
The
Chronicle. on CD.
2003 Jeep Liberty comes with an automatic or included copy of Credence
Yeah, dude.
Chronicle.
Well, you're gonna have more than enough time to listen to it on your drive.
Yeah, dude, going all the way to Indiana for bowling school.
Take me back.
Super
down
excited.
a new-
Taking out
go-
$60,000 in student loans here, fucking due to the federal government and the way it works in this world. But you know, I'm gonna manage a bowling alley one
The
day.
real way I got into Credence was San Andreas bumping Green River.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude! Yo, that soundtrack's on point, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck
Walk in
yeah,
the jungle.
Well, we're gonna miss you here, buddy.
yeah.
That's true.
I'll commute back from Indiana from time to time. You know,
It's not
Yeah.
that long of a drive. It's only like
you guys
Hour
can
and
come
a
out
half,
too.
2
And,
hours.
my internship will be probably setting pins, so you guys can come to whatever bowling alley I'm interning at.
Sweet.
Yeah,
And plus, I mean, who's to say you can't call in?
of course. Yeah,
Especially if we have something you want to talk about.
of course, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are gone too soon, our suggestion from last week was to watch the documentary 27 Gone Too Soon on Netflix, directed by Simon Napier Bell.
Wikipedia.
This is the
Yeah.
best way I can explain this. It's 6 musicians, all of which die at the age that they really hone in on, being Brian Jones, leading to Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, and then ending with Amy Winehouse. And it's just a various cast of individuals essentially reading Wikipedia facts about drugs and how they affect people and the hardships of being in the music industry. And they just briefly describe each one of these lives and how they died. It's very...
Like, honestly, I feel like with like the very fucking like childish video editing software that we're capable of, and with our iPhones, we could probably create a better documentary.
That dude, this is seriously like like one of those like
Yeah.
college documentaries some kids film for like a
Like-
class. It's just so the music, the imagery they use, like it was bad, dude.
Like honestly,
across the
like
board.
if you have access to a computer and
Yeah.
you can type in wikipedia.com or
Yeah.
.org, right? Wikipedia.org. You could probably learn more
Absolutely.
than this episode or this movie.
Put it this way: the movie is like an hour and 10 minutes. I want to say. If you Wikipedia'd all 6 of these artists, you could find out everything about this movie probably within 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably a true statement.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
actually an extremely true statement.
It's very this was a horrible waste of time.
So, what would you give this from a score from 1 to 10?
An absolute 1.
1.
And the only reason I would give it a 1 is
it's because
it's just because there's there's some just quick video that you get to see of these artists.
Yeah,
So like that's the only reason is just because you actually get to see some decent footage of like Woodstock for a second, things
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
But yeah, dude, just honestly, don't even waste your time.
What would you give it, Connor?
A 1.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time. I
Yeah.
mean, if you don't know anything about any of this shit,
That's the only
it's
reason.
even still not enough, really.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 1 too. Like honestly, if you don't even understand like just the stories of these people by now, and you're listening to this
Yeah.
podcast, then
Yeah.
Well, this is the
That's
thing.
true.
Yeah, if you don't know anything about these people, you weren't gonna watch it anyway.
exactly.
And if you know anything about them,
you're
it's-
already listening to this podcast.
dude, it's such a fucking waste of time, dude.
Yeah, well, we're not.
We're only the second outlet to waste our time reviewing it.
Well, we're not kind of super far off. IMDb gave this a 4.8 out of 10, which I think is entirely too high.
Oh, IMDb
Especially for
reviewed it.
IMDb.
We're the third.
dude.
Yeah, for IMDb. Then Common Sense Media, which usually rate everything bad, or actually they kind of rate everything kind of like medium.
Yeah,
Like they never really gave anything a bad review that I've seen.
yeah.
They gave it a 1 out of 5.
And there wasn't even a single review on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
the only thing was from Common Sense Media. It says unsatisfying doc about addiction, death, and lost talent.
That's it.
That kind of says it there with no reviews. And technically, if you want to think about it, we're the second review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, posted on the good old interwebs. Take it from us at Rage Against the Mainstream. Don't waste your time.
No, like a stamp.
What
This
do we
is
got for
Certified garbage.
Yeah, dude.
blow it up instead of listening to it?
Yeah, dude.
My personal suggestion, and this is not a joke at all, and I stick up for this band from time to time. The band in question is Warrant. The song is Down Boys, and the album is Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. It's not the one that had Cherry Pie.
Okay.
This is the album that had that song Heaven.
It was before that or after?
I think it's after.
Hmm.
Or no, it's before. It's before.
Okay.
If you listen to Down Boys, it's a cool song. Like it's not like
Warrant seemed like the type of band where after Cherry Pie, they were probably a lot worse.
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They definitely were after Cherry Pie. Like
yeah.
th-
It seemed like
was a
once they
joke.
got like a good amount of money into them, they were probably like,
and now they do that whole like Rocklahoma thing, like the whole like washed up '80s bands.
Yeah.
that play that
They still do
festival.
that?
Yeah,
Damn.
it has nobody. Like I think there's only like 2 original members in that band now because Janie Lane's dead.
The singer?
Yeah, he overdosed, I believe, or no, I think he took like Percocet and like wine or some shit, and he died. So yeah,
So
I guess
his
an
name was
overdose.
Janie?
Janie, Jani, Janie Lane.
Huh.
Almost like Penny Lane from Almost
Janie
Famous.
Famous. Connor, what do you got, bub?
I got another 80s pick here. The Fix, Reach the Beach.
Nice.
I was always a big fan of this album.
Highlight track.
Huh?
Highlight track.
One thing leads to another.
Mm.
One thing leads,
leads to another. One thing. One thing. Leads
I've always liked that song.
Yeah.
My cousin, who's like a good like 20 years older than me, was always a big fan of them. He said like he grew up in Florida, and he was just like, man, they used to play this little club, man, and they were like the greatest band I ever saw. Like I saw tons of bands, like, and something about
funny.
the Fix was just like insane live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got into that album at a young age, and it's a good album.
For your last recommendation for the foreseeable future, Steve, what do you got?
So ironically enough, this is kind of like a dual recommendation. Today, September 16th, a movie was released called 3 from Hell, which is
Oh.
now finishing with a trilogy from House of a Thousand Corpses and the
Devil's
sequel
Rejects.
to Devil's Rejects being a Rob Zombie film. So
Mhm.
in honor of that day, I'm going to recommend a White Zombie album, which is their second release called
Los
Los Exorcisto.
Exorcisto.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
dude.
hell yeah.
Devil Music Volume 1 was released in 92. My highlight track of that is actually going to be the final song. It's called Warp Asylum. Fucking awesome album front to back.
That's awesome.
Such a great album. And it's just coincidental that this movie came out today.
Kurt
Yeah,
Cobain was a
yeah.
fan of White Zombie.
Hell, who isn't?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
can you not be a fan of
Fucking
White Zombie?
Excellent.
White
And especially
Zombie's the
Los
fucking shit.
Exorcisto, dude. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
That's an album you can just play and it's just, the whole thing is just catchy.
I remember your
Just-
dad used to bump fucking More Human Than
Yeah,
Human and
all the
Suburban.
time.
Yeah, dude.
That was my dad's fucking song.
Yeah,
dude.
he thought that shit was bad.
Yeah, that's all Astro. And I figure that song came out Astro Creep 95, dude.
Yeah.
94.
Astro
95. Astro Creep 2000. It's released April 11th, 95.
My birthday.
Oh. But yeah, that's the final recommendation. Go see that movie. Go listen to that album. Have a good day.
I was with you when you got that CD.
Oh, yes, you were. Where did I get that from? Best Buy? That was a Best Buy purchase. That was brand new.
That was brand new. Wow.
Yeah, that was a Best Buy purchase.
That's awesome.
I got that album for $2.
Such, can't all be winners.
All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for this week. If you missed it the first time, here it is the second time. Steve is going to college.
Bowling technician.
Here at Rage Against the Mainstream, we feel like now is a better time than ever to conclude season 1. We'd like to thank all of our listeners involved here for making season 1 absolutely wonderful. We're going to come back before the holiday season, and we're going to have new stuff for you, new guests, new interviews possibly.
Due to as well that we are all avid Halloween and horror fans, we will be coming back in brief time for a special Halloween episode released on a different date, not being our normal Monday due to the 31st following.
Thursday,
Yes,
October
Thursday,
31st.
October 31st. So we will be coming back for a special episode you will not want to miss, especially if you are into the Halloween season as well as the Halloween shock rock bands, horror punk, even just your typical Alice Cooper-esque acts.
We might even get some phone calls in from the other side if if you're interested in something like that.
You never know.
But we just want to thank everyone for listening. People on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everyone that interacts with us. We really can't thank you enough. This has been amazing, and we're coming back for a second season. So, hold your breath.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the episodes not premiering, our emails are still open and functional, and we're still relatively a fresh take, so you guys can still submit us anything you'd like, as we mentioned, for any local acts that aren't dealing with any certain record companies and law infringement with your lawyers or anything else, and no guidelines around that. You can still get your music played on here. You can still also submit recommendations, anything you want to hear discussed, debated, or even just, some outside insight from some random Joes here in South Jersey. Feel free to continue to email us, Facebook, Instagram, email at
ratmpodcast@gmail.com.
that is correct.
Facebook.com, Twitter.com, Instagram.com/RATM podcast, Podbean or ratmpodcast.podbean.com. Make sure you tune back in October 31st because we will have a special episode for all you guys out there that are loyal listeners to us. Like I said before, that wraps it up this week for us, guys. This is Rage Against the Mainstream signing off. This is Bill.
Canner.
Steve.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you for listening.